Hello there and welcome. Today, we're jumping right into a story that's all about resilience. About finding that little bit of strength when you feel like you have absolutely nothing left in the tank. We're going to uncover two really powerful rules for getting through those tough times. I mean, haven't we all been there? That feeling, it's like the walls are just closing in, and no matter what you do, no matter how hard you push, things just keep getting worse. It's that moment of just total despair, right? And that's exactly where our story starts today, with a young guy named Suraj. See, he had this huge dream, but his reality? Well, it felt like it was doing everything it could to completely crush it. So get this, Suraj is only 19 years old, living in Indore. He's trying to chase this dream of becoming a government engineer, but he's up against the really harsh reality of his family's finances. I mean, his dad was a factory worker, and his mom sold a homemade Pawpod. And Suraj himself? Man, he was doing it all, delivering newspapers, tutoring kids, helping his mom with her work, and this was all before he could even crack a buck to study for his own future. Talk about a hustle. So you can imagine, he was already stretched just about as thin as you can get, right? Juggling work, family, his studies. But you know how it goes. Life was about to throw him a massive curveball. And bam, here it is. The breaking point. The factory where his dad worked, it just shut down. Gone. That was their main source of income, just wiped out. So Suraj had to take on even more. Now he's selling vegetables just to put food on the table. And as if that wasn't enough, his own friend looks at him and says, "Dude, just give up. Who can study with a burden like this?" You can just imagine. He was completely shattered. Just feeling absolutely broken, totally exhausted. He wanders over to a nearby temple. He finds a spot near this wise old Mahatma, a holy man, and he just breaks down. He starts crying, telling him he's just so tired of fighting, that every single thing he tries just seems to lead to more and more hardship. So the Mahatma, he listens really calmly, and then he gives Suraj this really strange test, something that makes absolutely no sense. He says to him, "Look, for the next 10 days, I want you to go over to that old mango tree, and I want you to destroy the nest a pigeon is building there." Strange, right? Okay, so Suraj is obviously confused, but what's he gonna do? He agrees. And the whole thing was just agonizing for him. Every single day, he'd climb that tree and tear down all the pigeon's hard work. But then, the next morning, what does he find? The pigeon is right back at it, tirelessly rebuilding with new twigs. It's just relentless. And by day 10, there's a complete nest standing there again. And Suraj, he just couldn't do it. He couldn't bring himself to destroy it one last time. So he goes back to the Mahatma, his head just spinning. He tells him, "Look, I did what you asked. I wrecked its home every single day, but it never gave up. It just kept rebuilding. What does all this mean?" The Mahatma just smiled. And right here, this is where we get the very first, really profound rule for tough times. Okay, so lesson number 1, it's all about relentless effort. And what's so powerful here is that this isn't just about working hard. No, it's about having the guts to start all over again right from zero, after every single failure. That pigeon wasn't just tough, it was something more. Every time its nest got torn down, it didn't just bounce back, it just began again. Its resolve was completely unbroken. And this quote from the Mahatma, wow, it just nails it. He explained that life, well, it's gonna try and tear down whatever you build. That's just how it is sometimes. But, and this is the key, if you have the will to start over every single time, you're not just surviving, you're mastering the art of the comeback. And eventually, whatever is working against you, it just gets tired. Your persistence will literally outlast the problem. But listen, that relentless effort, that's only half the battle. There was a second, equally crucial lesson that Suraj had to get. And this one is all about having the perspective to actually keep going. And that second lesson is understanding the true nature of time. Think about it. Nothing is permanent. Nothing. Good times don't last forever, and you know what? Neither do bad times. The struggle that Suraj was in, that feeling of being completely exhausted and trapped, it was just a season. It was not a life sentence. And the Mahatma puts it so perfectly with this line. When you're going through it, time feels like your enemy, doesn't it? Every day is just this long, draining battle. But if you can just hold on, if you can just keep putting one foot in front of the other, that very same time that feels like it's testing you today, it will eventually become your biggest fan. It turns today's struggle into tomorrow's victory. So let's put it all together. You've got these two big lessons. The pigeon's lesson is the small picture, right? The micro. It's all about just focusing on the next step, just keep rebuilding. Then you have time's lesson. That's the big picture, the macro. It's about keeping perspective, remembering that this tough spot, it isn't your final destination. And you absolutely need both of them to get through the hard stuff. And honestly, that day, everything changed for Suraj. With these two rules in his back pocket, his whole perspective just flipped. He went back to his life, and look, the problems weren't gone, the burden wasn't any lighter, but his spirit, it was so much stronger. He finally understood that all his daily struggles were just steps on the path, and that time would be on his side as long as he just refused to give up. You know, Suraj's story isn't really just about him. It's kind of like a blueprint for any of us when we're going through a tough time. It lays out these two massive truths about resilience. And that really brings the question back to you, to us. As you're facing whatever challenges are in your life right now, which one of these two lessons do you need to hear the most? Is it the pigeon's lesson, that call for relentless, focused action, just taking that next step? Or is it that quiet wisdom of time, the simple reminder that this too shall pass? Maybe figuring that out is the key to your very next step.